When people around the world think of Nepal, they imagine mountain peaks. And that is not your fault. Even the country's own identity makes people think this way. Look at their flag. It is the only national flag on earth that is not shaped like a rectangle. It has two stacked triangles, colored red and blue, designed to look like the Himalaya mountains. Every other country settled for a box shape, but Nepal kept the shape of its mountains. But that famous shape is the exact reason why almost everyone gets this country wrong. This is because only 6% of people in Nepal actually live up in those mountains. More than half of the population lives lower down on a flat strip of land hugging the border with India, a place that is 13 times more crowded than the high mountain area and grows bigger with every population count. The picture you have of Nepal is not a lie, but it is only 6% of the full story. This video is about the other 94% and how they actually live. How high up you live on a mountain decides very little here. What really decides a life in Nepal is a single sheet of paper, and it usually gets filled out at a kitchen table under a single light bulb after the children are asleep. It is an official work permit, which a Nepali person must get before they can legally leave to work in another country. Almost 800,000 of these permits were stamped last year. There is a blank line on the paper for the country they're going to, and until that line is filled in, a family's next 10 years remain uncertain. What crops get planted, who gets to finish school, and whose name goes on the work papers next. There are 30 million people in Nepal. Roughly 1 out of every 6 of them is currently living and working somewhere else. Nepal is located between the 2 largest countries in the world, but only one of them is easy to reach. The road that leads to the sea goes south. The fuel, most of the rice, and about 3/5 of all goods traded in Nepal also come from or go through the south. Here is the strange part. Nowhere else on earth can you drop from such a high point to such a low point without leaving the country. The top of Mount Everest stands 8,849 meters high. The lowest land in Nepal, a rice field near the border with India, sits at just 59 meters. Almost the entire distance from the highest peak to the lowest ground exists inside the borders of this single country. For 40 years, the people of Nepal have been making that exact same journey down from the mountains, just more slowly and without using ropes. The flat land region called the Terai held about 44% of the population in 1981. It holds more than half of the population now. 34 districts are losing people completely, which in real life means a door that used to open every morning stays closed. A farm field stops being planted a season early, and a house built to hold 3 generations of a family is run by just one person in some years. Over 66% of people in Nepal now officially live in a city. The country is divided into 7 provinces. It has a main system of national laws that is younger than the government officials who enforce it. For decades, governments changed so often that alliances shifted almost every year, keeping power rotating among a handful of older politicians while the younger generation waited its turn, until the uprising and election described later in this video broke that pattern. That is the basic layout of the country. What is actually happening to it is easier to see inside people's homes. Drive into any mountain district and count the new houses. They have cement walls, steel rods sticking out of the roof pillars as if waiting for someone to finish building, a tiled front porch, and a metal gate. Then, look to see if any light is turned on inside. A large number of these new homes are fully built, but completely empty. People actually live in the old house next door, which is made of stone and mud, with a tin roof and clothes hanging on the porch to dry. The grandparents stayed in that old house while all the family's money was spent to build the new one right beside it. Most of the time, The key to the new house just hangs on a nail near the door that no one has taken down. Almost every family in Nepal owns the house they live in. The real question here is where the materials to build the house came from, and the answer is usually 2 years of hard work by a family member in a construction job in the Gulf countries. In the Kathmandu Valley, the math about money is easier to understand in everyday terms. Paying less than $135 a month gets you an apartment in Kirtipur, or on the outer edge of Koteshwar. Paying between $135 and $236 a month is what most people pay for a 2-bedroom apartment in areas like Kapan or Toka, and rent prices in those places have gone up by 5 to 8% since 2024. Families living together in one home are getting smaller, with an average of 4.4 people per house, compared to 4.9 people 10 years ago. If you calculate what that missing half person really means, it is not just an idea on paper. It represents a chair that people used to pull up to the dinner table, but now stays folded up against the wall. 1 out of every 4 people who should be in the family photograph is away working on a job contract somewhere else. The electricity works now. That is a new improvement, and it is a genuinely good thing. The water system does not work. Water comes through the pipes only once every 1 to 8 days. Families have to buy full truckloads of water to fill the days in between, while a mother calculates exactly how many buckets of water they can use to survive until the next delivery arrives. A house shows you how a family chose to spend their money. But what happens inside the house is set by something much older, eating 2 meals a day at set hours. People eat a meal called dal bhat 2 times every day. This meal includes rice, lentil soup, vegetable curry, pickle, and meat whenever there is a special reason. They eat this at about 10 in the morning and about 7 at night, drinking tea and eating a light snack to fill the time in between. That schedule is why a normal workday in Nepal looks unusual to people from other countries. People eat a heavy meal before they leave home, rather than after they arrive at work. They eat a full plate at 10 in the morning and then head out, because all the work they do between then and 7 at night has to run on that food. The food on the plate is based on local regions and old traditions. People eat rice on the flat land and in the valley. People in the hills eat millet, corn, and buckwheat, where rice was considered an expensive luxury within living memory. However, where the food actually comes from today is neither local nor traditional. Nepal grows much less rice per farm than India does, and the amount of money Nepal spends to buy grain from other countries has grown by more than 50% in 10 years. A large portion of the rice inside a Nepali kitchen crossed the border from India at Birgunj before it ever got to a plate. 6 out of every 10 workers in Nepal still work in farming, yet the country still has to buy its main food from somewhere else. About 6 out of every 10 workers in Nepal work in farming, but farming produces only about 1/4 of the country's whole economy. That big difference is the single most important fact about how money works in Nepal. Between 85 and 90% of all jobs are unofficial, meaning there is no legal contract, no retirement pension, and no official record of employment. The lowest legal monthly wage is 19,550 rupees, which is about $140. Compared to rent prices in Kathmandu, that amount pays for only a single room, bus fares, and basic food, leaving no extra money saved if someone gets sick. More than 20% of young people do not have jobs, and that number is actually higher in reality because many of the young people who would be unemployed have already left the country. 500,000 people in Nepal reach the age to start working every single year. Roughly 4 out of every 5 of them leave the country. None of this situation is new, even if the official paperwork is modern. 200 years before any Nepali person ever flew on an airplane to Doha, young men from these same mountain districts were already walking away to join military service in other countries. The British military first hired Gurkha soldiers from Nepal in the year 1815 after fighting a war against Nepal that they expected to win easily, but did not. The military uniforms and the places people traveled to have changed since then. But the reason a family sends a member away has stayed the same. There was always more money to be earned by leaving than by staying home. This is why the biggest part of Nepal's economy is money sent back from people working in other countries. Money sent home by foreign workers now equals about 1/3 of everything Nepal produces, and over the 12 months leading up to April, those payments grew by almost 40%. Around $47.3 million arrive in the country every single day. That huge amount of money should mean that people across the country are saving a lot. Instead, it mostly means a country that has already spent the money before receiving it, because most of it arrives already owed as debt. The law in Nepal sets a limit of $68 on what an agency can charge a person to get a job abroad, and requires the foreign company to pay for the work visa and flight ticket. Fewer than 1 out of 10
Instead,
workers
it mostly means a country that has already spent the money before receiving it, because most of it arrives already owed as debt. The law in Nepal sets a limit of $68 on what an agency can charge a person to get a job abroad, and requires the foreign company to pay for the work visa and flight ticket.
Fewer than gold jewelry as a promise for payment, unclasped, wrapped in cloth, and carried to a money lender who weighs it on a small brass scale. The average worker spends more than 3 months working in another country, earning money only to pay back those initial recruitment debts. The places people go to work are on a short list. The United Arab Emirates is first, followed by Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait. The Japa district, located down in the eastern flatlands of the Terai, sends more workers abroad than any other district in the country. There's a second, quieter line of people leaving the country. More than 112,000 students left in a single year with official government permission, mostly going to study in Japan, and hundreds of millions of US dollars went out to the country with them to pay for school tuition. Poorer Nepali workers earn foreign money working hard in the Gulf countries, while wealthier Nepalis spend foreign money to earn a college degree in cities like Osaka or Sydney. So the money comes into Nepal in huge amounts, but it is already promised to be paid to someone else. The real question is how much money is actually left over in people's pockets at the end of the day. Gas in Kathmandu costs about $1.35 per liter. That price came after 5 price hikes, 1 price drop, and another price hike, all within 6 months, following the closing of the Strait of Hormuz in the spring. The situation with cooking gas is even worse. What the government did about it shows the problem even more than the price does. From March until mid-July, gas cylinders were purposefully sold only half full so the supply would last longer. Anyone who cooked during those months learned the trick. Pick up the gas cylinder before you buy it to feel its weight, because half-filled cylinders were not always marked as half-filled. Full cylinders returned to the market in mid-July, though the company bringing the gas into the country still loses money on every single one. Compared to those costs, the official national poverty line is a little less than about $493 of total spending per person each year, which is about $1.35 per day. Here is the key fact that helps explain how the country works. The poorest 20% of households in rural Madish spend about 2/3 of all their money on food. The richest 20% of households in the Kathmandu Valley spend a little over 1/4. Both groups use the same currency and pay the same price for rice, but they face two completely different levels of risk when a bad month happens. For a family that is still paying back its loan debts, those $1.35 were already promised to a money lender before the money was even earned. What helps a family survive a hard month like that is whatever free support the government provides. That list of free support is very short. It is 7 o'clock on most evenings in a house located in the mountains, the valley, or the flatlands. It does not matter where. One plate is placed on the dinner table a little later than the rest. One chair is pulled out and left slightly away from the table because everyone in the family has learned, without talking about it, to leave space where a missing family member used to sit. Dinner begins anyway. It has to begin. Then, right on time, a mobile phone lights up on the table, and for 20 minutes a voice comes from that empty chair. Having a large extended family living together here is not just a cultural choice. It acts as the family's main support system, and it has now been redesigned around someone who is missing. Look at this family setup, honestly. A man in his 30s lives in the Gulf countries on a 2-year work contract. His wife takes care of the house, manages the farmland, and oversees the children's education. His mother takes care of the daily needs of the family members. Almost 1/3 of households in Nepal now have a woman as the main head of the home. But in the mountain districts, daily work is mostly done by people over 50 years old. Family decisions are made during that exact same 20-minute phone call, in the short time between when a work shift ends and sleep begins on the other side of the world. They decide whether to plant new crops. They decide whether to sell the farm field located near the road. They decide whether a younger child should also go to Japan, which requires money the family does not have until they borrow it from someone else. And how is that money used once it arrives in Nepal? It pays for food, school fees for children, medical care, and paying back loans. Study after study shows the exact same pattern. Money sent home increases what a family eats and what they spend on their kids, but very little of that money is used to start a business. The reason for this is basic math, not just being careful with money. A family paying 20% interest on a hiring loan cannot use the money from the first 2 years of work for anything new, because that money is already promised to lenders before it is even earned. The family duty remains strong anyway, and it stays strong even without a written contract, because it is held together by something stronger than legal laws. It is a daily routine that everyone follows, no matter which country they wake up in, along with a chair that stays slightly empty until the next phone call comes through. Nepal uses its own calendar year. According to the Bikram Sambat calendar used here, the year is 2083, which is about 57 years ahead of the standard world calendar. The local clocks are set exactly 15 minutes different from India's time, making Nepal one of only 3 places in the world with such an unusual time offset from standard global hours, chosen on purpose rather than by mistake. Depending on who you ask, this time, differences either a way to align with the local sun position or a quiet, permanent way of showing that Nepal is separate from India. Nobody in Nepal finds this inconvenient. Both explanations can be true at the same time. Most people in the country practice Hinduism, a large number practice Buddhism, and there are also Muslim and Kirat religious communities, with a long history of families blending different religious practices together in the same home. The traditional caste system was legally ended in 1963 and made a crime again in 2011. Dalits make up about 1 out of every 7 people in Nepal. Police write down 30 to 40 caste discrimination cases every year, but that number shows only how many people report it to the police, not how many actual cases really happen. A strict cultural rule followed in a village in Madhya might mean nothing to a granddaughter living in the city of Lalitpur, yet both places are part of Nepal. The main cultural rule that visitors misunderstand first is how people speak directly. When a Nepali person says no, they rarely use the actual word no. Instead, no is usually expressed as a maybe, a delay, or a change of topic. And taking these answers literally is why foreigners end up standing outside a locked office building at 9 in the morning thinking they had a set appointment. Then there is the major festival called Dashain in the autumn season. It lasts 15 days, and the entire country travels during this time. Buses are completely full. Airplane flights are booked a year in advance, and work contracts in other countries are purposely planned to finish right before the festival begins. People grow young barley shoots in the dark to prepare sacred jamara. Kites fly over the rooftops, and an older family member presses a red mixture of rice and colored powder onto each person's forehead, one family member at a time, going down the line. In many homes today, that line of family members does not end with the last person present in the room. A mobile phone is propped up against a water jug and tilted upward, and the older person's thumb presses the red rice mixture onto a photo or onto a phone screen that feels warm from the sun. Because a family member 4 time zones away still needs to receive their blessing, and the family refuses to skip anyone's name just because they are not physically in the room. Dashain acts as the family's honest yearly count of who is present. You can easily count who was able to return home. And in many households, that number of returning family members has been decreasing for 10 years. The gathering shares the exact same festival name across the whole country. However, it is not the exact same experience everywhere. And where a family's house is located changes almost everything about how the festival is lived. Around the world, Nepal is famous for the danger of high mountain altitudes, but for the people who actually live in Nepal, the real daily danger is the roads. 7 people die every day in traffic accidents, and about 80 people are injured, with roughly 7 out of every 10 of those deaths involving a motorcycle. Traffic deaths in Nepal are several times higher than deaths from all natural disasters put together. The heavy monsoon rains are the other major danger. 9 main highways were blocked by mud and rock slides in just one day this month. During one weekend in October, landslides in the eastern hills killed 47 people, with most of those deaths happening in the Alam district. Lakes made of melting glacier ice near the border have broken through their banks twice in recent years, washing away bridges in the process. When a road gets destroyed, mobile phone signals usually stop working as well, leaving a family 4,000 kilometers away spending a whole day calling a phone number that does not answer before anyone can explain why. Then there is the issue of dirty air. During the winter and spring seasons, Kathmandu ranks among the 10 most polluted cities on Earth, as smoke from local brick-making factories and vehicle traffic get trapped under a layer of cold air in the valley, and about 2/5 of this bad air blows in from outside Nepal, which no government law made in Kathmandu can fix. Specialized medical care and expert doctors are almost exclusively found in the capital city of Kathmandu. If you have a serious medical emergency and live 8 hours away from the valley, the long travel distance itself becomes the main factor in whether you survive. All of these risks and challenges are experienced very differently depending on what country's passport you hold in your drawer. People from most countries can get an entry visa when they arrive at the airport or border, costing anywhere from $30 to $125. This visa can be extended for $3 per day, up to a maximum limit of 150 days in a single calendar year. Citizens of India do not need a visa at all. It is against the law to work while staying in the country on a tourist visa. To get a legal work permit, an employer must prove that no qualified Nepali person is available to do the job. No company is allowed to have more than 20% foreign workers on its staff. The official work visa belongs to the employer who hired you, not to you personally. Foreigners are not allowed to own land in Nepal. They cannot buy a hillside or even a small plot of land. A foreign person can own an apartment through a registered business company, while Nepali people who took citizenship in another country can get a special card that lets them own an apartment and enter Nepal easily, though it does not allow them to vote or own farmland. Using language here is easier than visitors expect, but it is spoken in fewer places than it appears. English works well in major cities like Kathmandu and Pokhara, as well as anywhere mountain walking permits are checked. Just 2 hours away from those main tourist areas, English stops working, and in the flat southern Terai region, the main spoken language is often Maithili or Bhojpuri rather than Nepali. Charging two different prices, a cheaper one for locals and a higher one for tourists, is done openly and without shame, ranging from high official fees to climb Mount Everest down to an extra $3.38 US dollars added to a tourist's bus ticket to Pokhara. Here's the main comparison that matters, and Nepal has a unique version of it that most countries do not have. An online remote worker paid in US dollars and a neighbor earning the lowest legal local wage can share the exact same apartment hallway in Bhubaneswar while living in two completely different financial worlds. The unique difference in Nepal is that the local neighbor's family may also be funded by foreign money, sent from a small room in Sharjah by a man who has not seen that hallway in 2 years. Both of these living situations exist right now inside the exact same building. Neither of these situations is staying still. Nepal is a good fit for people who can handle official government delays and paperwork, and who want to live near their family and near the mountains. It is very difficult for anyone living on a local income, anyone who needs expert medical care outside the Kathmandu Valley, and anyone who needs the government to operate in a predictable way. Here are 3 key conclusions. What makes this country unique is that a family can be spread across 3 different continents, yet still function as a single family unit, talking on a mobile phone at a set time every day, with a chair left empty at the dinner table until the call connects. What people misunderstand is the mountains. Only 6 out of every 100 Nepali people actually live in them, and the rest of the country does not exist just as a background to those peaks. And the main factor that determines whether life works well here is not just how much money someone earns, but which foreign currency that money arrives in. The natural land and mountains originally set limits on where job opportunities could be found. The last 30 years have resulted in job opportunities moving entirely to other countries. Looking at the town of Birgunj again late in the day, on flat land with no mountains in sight, buses are loading up passengers heading for the border and the road to the airport. Somewhere in that line of people, someone is holding an official work form with a blank line on it, and this year that blank line is being filled in with destination places much further away. And for much longer periods of time, it still costs a lot of money to get that work permit. 2/3 of the people holding one of these papers paid more money for it than the law allows. There is a new way to understand Nepal's unique 2-triangle flag today that has nothing to do with royal history or high mountains. A single geometric shape was never going to be enough to describe this complex place. And increasingly, living in a single country is no longer enough for its people either. The hand, the pen, the blank line waiting to be filled.
That's it for today's story, but the journey is far from over. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Trek and Tell so you don't miss any of our upcoming journeys and stories. See you in the next video. Bye.